So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the another great day of our POUT streak of day 178. And let us see what today's question is about. So, today's question is the name is job sequencing problem, and it's a very standard question if you have learned the greedy algorithm whenever you have learned your DSA programming. तो ये क्वेश्चन यार if you have never heard of it, never solved it, तो समझना पड़ेगा पहले that how it is done and then we can only code it, right? So let us start with that what is actually the job scheduling problem. Then only you can understand this question how the input and output are coming, right? तो ठीक है तो शुरू करते हैं पहले job scheduling problem होता क्या है. So let us say you have 4 jobs here and this is the profits related to each and every job and that's the deadline, right? Deadline. And the only trick is to understand what this deadline means, right? So for the job one, if I say that deadline is 2, that does not mean that you will require 2 units of time to complete it, right? Every job requires just 1 unit of time. You can clearly see here. Each job required 1 unit of time completed, and only one job can be scheduled at a time, right? So इसका मतलब ये एक uni processor जैसा scheduling algorithm है. Like you don't have multiple software engineers, or I can say, because if I have 4 software engineers, I can give one job to each one of them, and they can complete it one by one, right? So that's a uni processor. I am only one software engineer is there to complete all the tasks, and yes, 1 unit of time to complete one job, and one job can be scheduled at a time. Okay, so first, we have to make a Gantt chart. Gantt chart is nothing but the range of the deadline. So you can clearly see that the deadline, the maximum deadline is 2, right? So we will make a range. So 0, 1 and 2, right? Okay. अब इसके 2 लिखने का क्या मतलब हुआ? That the J1 is having a deadline as 2. That means that it will require 1 unit of time. As it says, each job requires 1 unit of time, but you can complete it, let's say, before 2. So let us say deadline in minutes or months. So let's say months, right? इसका मतलब ये है कि आपको 2 months से पहले you have to complete this job, right? So this 0 1 2 is actually months, right? So if I say that if you want to complete the job and it requires just 1 unit time, and my schedule is empty, 0 से 2 months तक मेरे पास कोई काम नहीं है, right? So I can write J1 here or I can write J1 here, right? Both will be correct. Okay. Likewise, हमें इसी jobs को ऐसा लिखना है and then you can have to we have to find the maximum profits, right? ठीक है, तो let's say हमारे पास Gantt chart ये 3 का होता है, right? This is the range of deadline. अब मैं बोलूँ अगर मैं J1 को यहाँ लिखूँ तो will that be correct? Not correct, right? क्योंकि इसकी deadline 2 है, तो इसे तुम्हें 0 से 2 के बीच में ही कहीं finish करना होगा. That is तुम 0 से 1 में finish कर लो और you take time from 1 to 2, right? I hope this is understood now. ठीक है. Similarly for J2, since the deadline is 1, तो तुम 0 से 1 में ही you have to finish it, right? You cannot take other deadline from 1 to 2. Okay? ठीक है. So now let us try to replace all the jobs in this available slots. तो J1 जो है वो 50 ले रहा है. So let us replace it here. तो ये 2 है, right? But मैं इसे finish करा सकता हूँ 0 से 1 में भी. तो I would replace J1 here. Then again, I will see. अब 0 से 1 वाला slots fill हो चुका है, right? So that means I cannot use this, or I cannot use or cannot complete this job, right? Of the deadline 1 now. So there is only one thing remaining, right? तो मैं let's say मैं बोलूँ अगर मैं यहाँ J4 रख सकता हूँ तो मैं नहीं रह सकता, right? मैं J3 लिख सकता हूँ क्या? मैं वो भी नहीं लिख सकता at this slot 1 to 2. अब only option J3 का है, तो मैं यहाँ पे J3 रख दूंगा, right? And इसका total profits क्या हो गया? 50 plus 10, that is 60, right? So is it the optimized solution, right? Is it मैं यहाँ से maximum profits बना सकता हूँ क्या? नहीं बना सकता. चलो देखते हैं कैसे. So again make a Gantt chart 0 1 and 2, right? And now what you have that you want the maximum profit, right? तो हम maximum profit वाले job को ही pick up करते हैं. Let us pick the maximum profit job first. तो J1 जो है that is has the 50, right? और मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि let us keep this 50 at the nearest position to the deadline, to its deadline. तो इसका deadline क्या है? 2. तो nearest position empty क्या है? That is this here at the 2 itself, 1 to 2. So I will put J1 here. So as of now, just try to apprehend that we are doing this thing, placing a job nearest to its deadline. If right, अभी बस अभी आप ये समझो, we will definitely understand in the comment and that why is it the optimum one, right? Okay. तो मैं J1 को यहाँ रख दिया और J4, और फिर मैं क्या करूँगा, सेकंड हाईएस्ट प्रॉफिटेबल जॉब कौन सा है, ये 25, राइट? सो इट्स J4 एंड द डेडलाइन इज 1, so I can clearly replace, so I have to place it in the nearest of my deadline, so that is 1. So I will keep on checking from this position to the left onwards, and as soon as I find a free slot, I will place it. So here I will place J4. Now if you all the slots have been filled, and now if you sum up the profits, it will be 50 plus 25, which will give you as the 75, and this is your answer. ठीक है? तो आप ये देख पा रहे थे, राइट? अगर मैंने जीवन को लेफ्ट टू राइट से ट्रैवर्स किया एंड द अवेलेबल स्लॉट्स में इफ आई पुट दैट पर्टिकुलर जॉब विदाउट चेकिंग दैट इफ इट नियरेस्ट टू माय डेडलाइन और नॉट, तो आंसर क्या गलत आ रहा था, राइट? सो वी हैव टू चेक इट लाइक दिस, ठीक है? ठीक है, तो एल्गोरिथम क्या हो गई? व्हाट आर द स्टेप्स इन्वॉल्व? दैट फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज दैट यू नीड टू सॉर्ट द जॉब्स इन डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ द प्रॉफिट्स, एंड फॉर ईच जॉब you need to do a linear search, right? For each job you need to find an empty slot by doing a linear search from the deadline position to the 0th range of the Gantt chart to find the free slot, right? ठीक है, तो हम अभी कुछ और ड्राई रन्स देखेंगे यार. वी विल सी 2 to 3 मोर ड्राई रन्स, देन ओनली आई थिंक हमें और अच्छे से समझ में आएगा. ठीक है, तो ओके. Okay, so let us proceed with the second example. So here the input is given for the 5 jobs, and this is the deadline DL, and this is the profits associated, right? So the first step is to sort it. So I have sorted according to the profit. Now I highly recommend you to pause this video and fill this Gantt chart by yourself, and then please verify that your answer and my answer is what getting matched or not, and also you can comment that yes, I was able to do it. Okay. So how can we fill it? So first, since we want the maximum profits, that is the reason we sorted in the descending order. So I will see for J3, I will start my linear search from the deadline position, that is 1 here, right? To the left hand side, that till 0. So I will start my linear search from this point to my left point, and I will see that I have empty slot 0 to 1. I will place J3 here, right? Then I'll go to the second most profitable job, that is J1, and the deadline is 3. So I will start from this point, from 3, and I will move towards left, and I will see that if the slot is empty or not. So the slot is empty, and I will place J1 here, right? Now I will see for J4, and its deadline is 1, right? So I will see that from deadline 1, I'll move. If I move left, then I can see that there is no position left, which is one position was left, which is already filled with J3. Then I will skip this job, so this job will be skipped. Then J5, I will see that the deadline is 2. So again I will start from 2 position, second position, and I will move left, and I see I will do a linear search, and when I find a free slot, I will place that job. So the free slot is here, and I place the J5. Similarly, J1, I will be again at this position 1, and I will move left, but you can clearly see that on the left all the position is occupied, so I have to skip this job. So this job is also skipped, right? So what is the total profit? So J3 is giving me 40 profits, J5 is giving me 20 profits, right? Am I right? Yep. And J1 is giving me 35 profits, right? So total profit is 95 for 75 for 95. And let us verify this as well from our compiler, right? Okay. Okay. So as you can clearly see, I have run the same input cases for the 5 jobs, and you can see that the 3 jobs have been filled with the profit as 95, right? So okay, let us switch back to our board again. So I will do one last example, example number 3, right? Okay, so there's the example 3 on the board, and that's the input for 5 jobs again. And for the first step, we have sorted in the decreasing order of our profitable jobs. Now I highly recommend you to pause this video again, and please try to form the Gantt chart by yourself, right? And try to fill all the jobs. And मैं like seriously hope कर रहा हूँ कि आप इस third example को खुद से कर पाएंगे, right? And if you're able to do it, then the code is very easy to understand. आप scheduling job algorithm बहुत अच्छे से समझ जाओगे, right? So please try yourself, or maybe give yourself 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll resume. Okay, so let us resume. So what's the maximum value of our deadline? It's 3, right? So we will make a Gantt chart 0, 1, let's say 2, and then we'll add one more thing, 3. So you may be wondering that I'm using this term Gantt chart, right? Ganttchart, right? So it's a very basically it's a technical term used for this array, let's say, right? So that's nothing very what to say rocket science in that. Okay, so let's start filling it. So the profitable job is the J100 and have the deadline as 2. So I will come at this position 2 and I will move left and I will see that if there is empty slot. If there is an empty slot, I will place J1 here. For the J2, the deadline is 1. So I will again at the position 1, I will try to fill it, right? So that in the left, the position is right actually empty. So I will place J2 here, right? Then for the J5, I will see that the position 3 is there, deadline 3, and there is a slot left. So I will place J5 here, right? That was a very simple example. Similarly, J4 will be skipped because on the left of this point 1, deadline 1, there is no empty slot left. So it will be skipped. And then similarly for J3, there is no empty slot left, uh, empty slots left in the left of the deadline 2. So it will be skipped again. So what is my total profit? So the total profit is 100 plus 50 plus 20, that is 170, right? And you can clearly verify from the compiler as well. I have passed the same exact test cases which are given you as a question, and you have the total job profit as 170 and the total jobs as 3, right? ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है. So I hope we are on a very good position. We have understand how the job scheduling algorithm is working. So what would be our algorithm is that we just have to do these two steps, right? These two steps. Okay. So let us start the coding now. So first of all, they in the inbuilt coding section they have made a class job where they accept three parameters like is the ID, the deadline, and the profit, right? So we need to sort this job data structure, right, according to the profits. So and whenever you want to sort any data structure according to your logic, right, according to your custom logic, then you have to use the comparator, right? So let us use the comparator. Let me type that code and I will resume again. So again, if you're new to this problem, so that is why I'm showing the live coding line by line, and I'm not hoping that आप ये क्वेश्चन खुद से किए होगे अगर आपको जॉब शेड्यूलिंग एल्गोरिथम पहले से नहीं पता थी तो ठीक है. And basically we are sorting, तो actually ये greedy algorithm भी है because we are sorting according to the profits. तो greedily हम select कर रहे हैं जिसकी profit ज़्यादा है उस job को लो और put it in the slot and move forward, right? ठीक है, so that's the first job of the comparator we have done. And now we need to sort it, right? So what I will write, I will use the arrays dot sort, and this is the basic conventional method we use the sorting array because there is an inbuilt comparator which sorts in the descending order, but now we have to use our own custom comparator which we made. So job umpa array, right, give the parenthesis. So that is done. So you have sorted your job according to the profits. So let us make some variables, right? This result will store the total profits and this total job will store the total jobs that is assigned to the deadlines, the Gantt chart, right? Or when I was saying that for a particular deadline, we have to move to the left towards it, and whenever we find a free slot, we need to place that job. So for that, we need to make a Boolean array as well, right? So that's what I have made. I have made a Boolean slot variable. This is to track. This is to track of all the free time slots, and basically for the initially every slot has been empty, so it is initialized as false. And by default in Java, the Boolean array is always false, so we don't need to explicitly mention that it is false, right? So what now we need to do is that we now have to iterate for each and every job, right? So how this thing is looking like? So now this current mm, test case, how this is looking. So let me show you. So that was our given job array, right? 1 420, 2 110, 3 140, and 4 130. We can verify it from the given this thing 1 420, this thing, right? So when we sort it, when we have sorted it using the custom operator comparator, then it is looking like this. So we have a job array where the indexes are 0 1 2 3, and for the first index we have the maximum profit and similarly subsequently decreasing, right? So that is this uh, this line number 57 is doing. Now we have to iterate for each and every job, right? So let us iterate for each and every job. So for I equals to 0, I less than an I. And for each and every job, we need to do a linear search, right? Linear search from the deadline to 0, right? Okay, so we will, and since this uh, this one to this job one, this job two, and job three and job four are one based indexing, but our array is from zero based indexing, right? So we will use the deadline minus one, because we are making a Gantt chart. We are making a slot starting from zero, right? Zero, one, two, three, which we have named as slot array, Boolean array, right? And initially everything would be false. Everything is false, right? And since the maximum value is 4 years, so it will be one more variable. There is, yeah, that's it. So if you make a slot of size 4, it would be like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, and everything is false as of now, right? So what will happen now, that this first job, right, the job 0 now, it has the deadline as 1. So the job J0, let's say this J0, J1, J0, J1, I'm using the index as now the J name, right? So J0 would be here, and the associated profit would be 40. Similarly, for the other, the second, the job at the index 1 has the deadline as 1, so it will not get placed. And then this second job, the third job, which has the index 2, has the deadline as 4, right? So we will start from 4 minus 1, that is 3, and we'll move towards left. So we can see that the 3th position is false, so we will mark this as true, and we will place the J2 here. And this is nothing but the ith operator. We are using the I to iterate in this, and J2 will be placed here with the associated profit as 20. And similarly for this J3, which again has the deadline as 1, so we will go to 1 minus 1 0, and we will see that the slot is not empty. It's already been marked as true. So we will not fill anything else, and the total profit will be 60, right? So ठीक है. So for each and every I, we need to iterate from, let's say for j equals to what? Array of I dot deadline minus 1 till j greater than equals to 0, j minus minus, right? And we will see that if the boolean array which we made, if the slot of j is equals to false, then what we need to do is that we have this result variable which will store our profit. So I will write array of I dot profit. I will access that extra parameters using the dot operator. So array of I dot profit, right? And then I have this total job variable, so I will do total job plus plus. And then since I have found this slot, so I will mark this slot as what? True, because it has now been visited, and then break it. I don't need the extra information from rest of the blocks, right? And at last we just have to make an answer variable, answer array of 2d of two size, and then pass just the total job, because that is required by the question, total job and the result, and just return answer. That would be our entire code, right? So let us code all those steps. I have already given you the pseudo code. Please try to code it yourself for the rest of the steps, and we will continue ahead. So I have completed the rest of the code. I explained in the pseudo code in the open board, and you can see the expected and output matches. And now it's the time to hit the submit button. But before hitting the submit button, let us discuss the time complexity as well. So I will say that what we are doing is that we are sorting, right? We are sorting each and every array in terms of the profit. So that will take as the complexity of NlogN, right? Then we have this another for loop for I, and then we have a nested for loop of j, right? That's it. So we are iterating for each and every job, right? And the worst case would be like that for each and every job we will be traversing from the deadline minus 1 till the point of 0, right? So it will be n cross m. It would be n cross m, right? Okay, okay. And you can see that the deadline is nothing. Deadline has the constraint of 100, right? Okay, and I hope you understand that how the complexity is n cross n. So we are iterating for n jobs, and the worst case would be like that कि हमें, let's say हमारे पास एक array था, right? And let's say deadline was 3, but this was filled and marked as true, marked as true, marked as true, and this was 0 and 1, and this only is the only entry marked as false. So if the job has been uh, uh, processed for the for the deadline as 3, so it will traverse back. It will again traverse back till it found the false. So the maximum traversal it has to make to the deadline number of the size of the deadline, right? Size of deadline. So that is what I'm representing as m. And m का constraint हमारे पास दे रखा है 100 and n is given as 10 power 5. So if you multiply it, it will give you 10 power 7, which is definitely less than 10 power 8. And if our code and approach is right, which is, then it should successfully get submitted. Okay, so let us now hit the submit button after visualizing the in-depth of the time complexity. And yes, so it is n log n plus n cross m, right? So n log n still prevails, it is greater than n cross m. So that is why in the expected, it has given you as n log n. That is why, right? But in if you talk about the exact time complexity, so it will be n log n plus plus n cross deadline, which I'm representing as m. ठीक है, तो let me show you the C++ code as well, and then we'll end this video. So that's the C++ code here. I will not hit the submit button because it will now get updated in my DSA repository. So Java submission has already been done, and it would be reflected in my DSA repository. You can take the help of source code from the description link. So that's it. Let me scroll it for you so that you can have a quick look. And the same steps have been followed, right? Instead of making an array, we had a vector because the return type was vector, and everything remains same. In C++, we have to declare it at false if you make a boolean or let's say any array. Okay, so let's end this video here and we'll meet again on a good note on day 170 what 79. And if you're new to this channel again, then please like, share and subscribe so that we can I also be get motivated for the next video, for the next amazing streak, for the next new learning on our path. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Bye bye and take care.